Good afternoon. Welcome to the topics of the town news. I'm Mark Zuberek, and this is the February 19th, 2026. And I am here to entertain the public, the audience, because our other co-hosts are busy entertaining their families. This is the February school vacation week, and I appreciate that, but I would not give up this opportunity to touch base with the audience so we can talk about certain items. And I can handle this all by myself as well, so thank you very much. Welcome to our local broadcast. The agenda and opinions are solely by the topics that the town hosts, guests and commentators when we have them. I do not have a quote for this week or this presentation because I think the old quotes have run their course, and we have identified that there is a lack of leadership and masculine ability to lead. And the Board of Selectmen is a weak Board of Selectmen, and the town manager is supposed to be the strong arm of our government. Well, the Town Charter Review and the 53 or 54 warrant articles went to the Finance Committee, and it went to the special town meeting on February 9th. The review of the warrant articles and the town charter, both the Town Manager Act and the Town Meeting Act, have gone through its paces by the committee best to their abilities, and they were presented to the Board of Selectmen. The Select Board, in their wisdom, decided to manipulate some of the recommendations to refer them to their liking, and the Finance Committee went even one step further. They instituted policy statements that were presented to the town meeting as recommendations, and most of them flew right by. So there was very little discussion, but what I'd like to do is give you a brief summary of what happened at the town meeting, special town meeting, and I have a couple of clips that I'd like to show. So Ben, if we can show the first one, that'll be an opportunity to visit the special town meeting in person.
Kevin Barrett. Here. Michael Bean. Here. Maureen Bernard. Here. Daniel Bennett. Here. DeTroche Joko. Gardner Trask III. 105.
105 members indicating their presence. I now declare the establishment of a quorum. Excuse me. We'll begin with the swearing in of newly elected town meeting members, and I believe we have Mr. Barrett, who has been caucused in this evening. You already did it. Oh, you're way ahead of me. Okay. Congrats. Yes. Okay, perfect, thank you. Congratulations. Yeah, he was going to be back, but he wasn't here
4 have been attending this meeting. Now, the meeting did not go off with any fireworks because there was no opportunity for the town meeting members to even speak up. So we can show the second clip, Ben. I would appreciate that if we can get some voice on it too.
And we'll salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
Was a first and foremost, that's enough of this clip. We're not going to look at somebody's back of their head. I was very surprised because I sat in the back of the room with my camera and shot the entire first hour and a half of the special town meeting. And first or second or third warrant article required a standing vote. And the town moderator declared that they have to be counted, and they did vote on, this was primarily on the town manager residency requirement, which was, I don't know why, but the select board, in their wisdom, endorsed a no residency requirement, and the review committee, Sally Calhoun's review committee, recommended that there should be at least a statewide residency requirement, that at least the town manager would live within the bounds of the state of Massachusetts. Or there were discussions about New England. I mean, what are we talking about, people? The final standing vote that was taken on the town manager residency was, I think, 52 to 49. 52 yes, that there should be no residency requirement, and that stood up all of the town meeting members. However, if you look at the numbers, 52 to 49 is 101. So 5 or 6 of the town meeting members or the select board members did not vote or did not stand up to be counted. So why do we have these town meeting members? And that was one of the issues that was brought up during the review of the town charter, is that we should be reducing the number of town meeting members because there's no interest right now. If you look at what happened in this special town meeting, which was for a very important reason, is to confirm or establish new governing documents, and only 100 of the town meeting members showed up. Where were the other 50? And the select board was there, and they already had their vote. So why are they getting counted twice on this, evolution of our government? Now, my personal problem is that this was a false or undirected review of our governing documents. The town manager was not reviewed totally, but the problem is that it seems like everybody likes what was going on. So we got what we paid for. And the thing is, we're going to have to wait now for the legislature to review and concur on the language of all of the articles. The one thing that I am objecting to, and I have objected that to the Board of Selectmen and to the Finance Committee, is that they, in their wisdom, declined to read the articles that were presented to them. Why are we even going to the town meeting when none of the articles are being discussed or even identified to us as town meeting members? So, unless you were deliberately involved in the day-to-day activities of the board, of the select board and the finance committee and the town meeting, you didn't know what you were voting for. No wonder there's a comment at every town meeting is that our town meeting members walk down the aisle in the auditorium and open the packet, and then they vote on articles. Over usually 30 to 40 articles that are being voted on. So, that's where we are. We're at the end of the road for this. But the one thing that I did not see is any deliberate discussion in regard to the contents of our town charter. Our complaints that have been voiced against the planning board. The planning board has assumed too much responsibility, and we gave it to them. I remember that happening. But the planning board does not represent each and every one of us because the planning board is appointed by the town manager. Now, the town manager can appoint anyone he or she wants. However, that planning board is supposed to represent our views. And what I think should happen is that the planning board should be reappointed for the positions that represent the town population and not the special interests of the town. We have some planning board members that have been there for 20 years. Now, what kind of, maybe they have legitimate reason for being there, but I think that needs new blood. So, that's about as far as I'm going to go. The town, the other item that was briskly discussed, but it was at the end of the special town meeting, about the recall petition. And recall petition has been watered down to such a level that you need an act of God to get somebody removed from the elected office in this town. And it only applies to the select board, school committee, the library trustees, and I think the housing authority. But that's where we're going, and we're going to continue. So if we have another clip then, if you just show that, I would appreciate it.
As is the case in
There's no voice.
there was language left out of this article. If you vote down FinCom's recommendation, original language comes back in. But instead of that,
I think what we have is a technical difficulty, and we can't, I'll see if we can reconstruct this later. But the thing is that we have not scratched the surface in regards to the school system and the laws changed by the legislature that have affected us. And we have not even touched that. So I think what we need to do is we need to review. Go ahead, try it again. That's okay. Ooh,
As is the case in Article 6.
that's okay.
there's
Just cut it
language
off.
left out of this
That's
article.
fine.
If you
Mr.
vote
Bennett
now,
has a lot to say, and he said it at the special town meeting. And what we need to do is we need to readdress this particular issue, but it's gonna have to be done on a separate venue. Okay, town meeting has lost the effectiveness of being informed and is lacking focus on participation. Town meeting can and does function well only if the entire body is engaged. We have to get this mindset straight that the town meeting is for the purpose of town meeting members to address and discuss their concerns in regards to every article that's being placed in front of them. They do not necessarily have to rely on the recommendation of the Finance Committee. Finance Committee's limited authority is to give a recommendation, but the Finance Committee has gone to the dark side of setting policies and during their deliberations of review of every single article. They should concentrate on funding and how the money is being spent. And the thing is, they've gone way off the wagon. So, the final comment that I have in regard to the special town meeting on the town charter and the town manager act is public access to the board discussion was designated to be an opportunity for public input. That was scheduled for December 16th, which was 2 months before the town meeting. Why was it so late? The board does not want any input. This is the Danvers Board of Selectmen way. Very disappointing to hear the response from the select board when I brought this issue up, and other town meeting members have brought this issue up, and we were chastised at the select board that we should have been at every single one of these meetings. Well, we tried, but you have a job that you are not fulfilling. So, I did not have my turkeys with me today, but there is a turkey that's waiting to hatch, and that is Mr. Trask. And I hope that he changes his ways to let the audience or let the residents, the voters, participate in their meetings. This is not a dictatorship, and we know that. However, we need to get this message across because the Finance Committee is taking over the policies of the Select Board, and the Select Board has fallen asleep. So let's get some leadership from the Board of Selectmen or the Select Board, and I will continue using that term. So, but that's my synopsis of the special town meeting, and I hope that you have viewed it. One of the things that I brought up to the DCAT management team is that we need to improve the televised portion of the special town meetings and the annual town meetings, because what came across is dark and very quiet, and you can't hear what they're saying, and we need to be participants as the residents and voters of this town. So that's where we are, that's where we're going. Next item, item number 3 on my agenda is the budget preparation. I have done my due diligence with the finance director, And I have requested the information in regard to the payments of the annual remuneration to the management team, which I have here in front of me a management team that I will just count off the number of people that they have identified. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 individuals are identified as the management team. Now, I don't know what happened in the last 10 years, but the management team has doubled from what it used to be. It used to be the town managers of the departments, and the departments that were identified in the past, and now they're identified again, used to be the electric utility director. Everybody's a manager or a director. The town manager position, the superintendent position, the police chief, fire chief, assistant superintendent of finance and personnel, that's another one, I don't know who that is, police captains, finance director, IT director, everybody's a director in here, and they're counted in 28 positions for the management of this town. This town has a budget of $140 to $150 million a year, and we have 28 managers that are earning between $234,000 and $100,000. Now, the lowest one is Veterans and Service Officer, and that's $88,000. Food Service Director, I mean, that's a management team of the town? $90,000. The utility director is $234,000. The town manager is $220,000. Superintendent of schools is $205,000. Police chief, they're under the $200,000. The rest of them are under 200. We need to ask the question, how many managers do we need? Maybe what we should do is, during this budget review, consolidate some of these departments. And I hope that the new town manager does that, because this thing has grown way out of proportion. The second item that I usually ask for is a school department, 100 highest paid employees. And I have that listed here, and it goes, this one's even better. This one's at $215,000 as the highest paid, which is the superintendent. And then it goes down to number 100, $118,000. So their school department is paid even more than the town management team. So we will look at this during the budget reviews, but I seriously, I mean, we're getting out of control. The school department is again looking for 6 to 8% of an increase. Their population is decreasing. The number of teachers is increasing. The number of directors and administrators is definitely increasing. So we're going to start looking at this list. This is something that the Board of Selectmen and the finance director and the town manager should be addressing, because we are going out of control. Now, the town as a whole provides a list of the 100 highest paid employees of the town, and this one is comprehensive, and it starts at and I won't go into the names, but this will be published in either the Patch or the Salem News, because that's what it used to be. And now we are hiding this information until somebody asks for it. The highest paid employee in this town is a police officer, and his total paid for 2025 is $305,996. Granted that they do some premium time, overtime, and other paid salaries and wages. But $306,000 for a police officer. Now, it goes down to technical service assistant asset manager. Who the heck is that? Payroll officer is making $251,000. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not payroll officer, it's patrol officer. So it's another police officer. There's sergeant, lieutenants, and it goes down the list. And the lowest paid out of the 100 highest paid is worth $125,000 a year. And it's a mechanic, water department. Water and sewer is in that same range. Patrol officer, there's some that are 127,000. So these are indicators that we are overpaying our employees, because what we are afraid of is that they may leave. Well, according to the information that I've been gathering, is that many employees have left on their own or have been pushed out by department heads because they did not conform to the rules and regulations of employment in the town of Danvers. We need to fix this. This is something that needs to be addressed, and I will go into more detail when the budget gets submitted. And as far as I'm concerned, what I was told is that the budget will be submitted on March 1 to the select board, and then it becomes a select board budget that will be reviewed. And they're again going to a one-day Saturday affair where they review the entire budget. You cannot do that. This is something that's significant. You may be able to develop a plan of how to review it, but it needs to be reviewed. The other item that I've asked for, and what I've been told, is that as of July 1, 2025, that's when the fiscal year ends, that's when you develop or identify the free cash, the misnomer free cash account that left over from the budget of the previous year has not been confirmed yet. So I don't know how can they make the budget for the next fiscal year without knowing what was left over from the previous budget. So are we just rubber stamping everything down the road? Well, that's something that we need to address, and I do want to make sure that we address it. Next item is I have a statement that I will be reading to the Board of Selectmen. And this is really a repetitious item in regard to the budget. The proposed budget, when approved by the town meeting, establishes the tax rate for next year and continues to be punitive to the residents. No wonder real estate taxes are high, and even tax classification has not worked in favor of the residential taxpayers. We must continue to consider using classification as relief to the residents and to share the operating cost of our town more heavily by our commercial and industrial partners. We are always told that there's nothing can be done about the tax rate in December when it is reviewed and classifications is debated, because the money's already been spent. Well, this is the time of the budget preparation process that we need to watch and monitor, because the town will spend every penny that's available for their use. And the thing is that I have also asked for a list of the, and I hate to say this, but when I was on the board, and even after that for 10, 12 years, there was always a discussion at the budget time, where are the monies, the pockets of money that are hidden? And this was always geared towards Wayne Marquis, because he always had some kind of a kitty someplace tucked away. And that's what I'm going to be asking for. And I will look at that again. The Danvers residents have incurred significant increases in the opportunity to live in this town. The water and sewer has increased by 15% over the last 5 years. Electric rates increase is buried in the final fuel adjustment component of your bill and represents about 11 to 12% increase from now on. The electric rate increased even after the electric company diverted $25,000 to fund non-electric user functions, and specifically diverted to DPW projects. The current rate increase was approved even after having $20 million cash on hand in January of, I think this was 2022, 24, 26. These rate increases are hidden tax increases that are inflating our costs and are causing our tax inflation. Danvers Electric ratepayers fund intersection road race projects in the past, rail trail developments in the past, and maintenance and other pet projects such should be funded by town hall tax receipts. This use of electric ratepayer funds is another 2.5% override without authorization of town residents. Another focus. The electric division pays the town over $1 million every year as payment in lieu of taxes. Well, I think we need to review that. Town officials believe they are entitled to taxing you to the max for their management ineptitude and poor decisions. You will never hear that the cost of the management team are increasing and staff positions are decreasing. Wages and benefits are skyrocketing. Just look at the latest report of salaries and wages of all the directors and managers, which have been created as a result of the reorganization and expansion of town government. There is a proposal to double the selectmen's stipend because they deserve one. Well, I hope the new town manager, Jill Cahill, and the current select board have a awakening of where is our tax revenue going to. We cannot tax to the max every single resident of this town. So that's something that we are going to be watching during this process. The final position is that budget is totally dependent on state funding, but must also return to reality. Governor wants more taxes so she can support our illegal immigrants. School funding lacking. Evaluate the school costs as a result of lowering student count. Need to consolidate and invest those funds into the technical education at Essex Tech. Stop crying about the cost of Essex Tech. Look at your own budget and where is the money being wasted. State aid, which is dwindling because the stipend, all our state savings on supporting the influx of illegal aliens, state aid is drying up. Reduce our staffing by reorganizing our employees. Eliminate some departments. DEI at human resources need to go away. Now, that is a department or function that our former town manager instituted because he was totally in with the current thinking of the Democrats. We need to eliminate the assistant town manager position or reprogram those responsibilities. Reform the electric, municipal light board, water and sewer boards. I will be going to their meetings and start introducing some of that. Must reevaluate savings accounts that have been established as a result of federal aid and other free cash accounts. Reduce real estate taxes. We are taxed to the max, and we need to realize that we cannot continue this. I have some information in regards from Mass Fiscal, and this is regarding what does Healy have against affordability. The governor has claimed the proposal would devastate. This is in regards to reducing the tax rate from 5% to 4%. Now, in reality, state spending has surged in recent years, growing far faster than household income, fueled by temporary federal money, rapid hiring, and expanding programs. Asking state government to live within reasonable growth is not extreme, it is common sense. However, the governor, I don't think that she's wrong, but this is affecting her ability to spend our tax money. And we need to get this information to our representative and senator. So that's the budget is not going to be available until March 1. And we will be looking into that as a group. I have made that a practice every year and will continue. And even if we have to have weekly shows, that's when we need to start talking about it. Because the select board will not allow their residents, the voters, to comment on their proposed budget because they want to do everything in one day on a Saturday and take all day to do that. And what that turns out to be is an advertising for the town manager and the department heads. And we have now 28 department managers, and we need to listen to their ability to spend our tax money. We need to consolidate that whole organization. So, the fourth item on my agenda, and we're getting into 45 minutes into the show, Beverly Airport ignores the public. That is a continuation of my message, Tony's message, Bill's message, and we need to address this. Danvers Assessor's Office needs our real estate tax abatement application. Now, I reported last show that I have filed my application, supporting information to request the abatement. No taxes are being collected to date. Abatements provided due to proximity to runways. Now, the airport does not pay any real estate tax at all, and that has been very adamantly supported by the management of the airport, the state representative and the senator, the federal representative, Moulton, and now the FAA and even Sean Duffy, who is the Secretary of Transportation. And this is a individual that we felt it will be a very good approach to make to the Secretary of Transportation about what's going on here at Beverly Airport. We do not want a jet port. We do not want the jets flying overhead at a low altitude because that's how they land at the airport. We do not want the airport jet traffic to interfere with our activities. We do not want them flying over the high school and the grammar schools. This is dangerous. And as a matter of fact, this last week, we had a report of a fire at the Beverly Airport on the west side. Well, it turned out that it was a heater that was attached to a plane location, and that did not turn out to be anything dramatic. But our Danvers Fire Department, our police department, our building inspector, and everybody else was called out to the fire at the airport. It was reported almost immediately on the, I got a notification within minutes of when it happened. However, I did inquire to the airport manager, and he convinced me that it was just a spark of a fire that was not going to go up in flames, but you never know. So what we have filed is abatements in regards to the influx of the jet traffic and the impact that we have endured because of the expansion and increase in traffic of the airport. So We need abatements due to jetport overflights over our engaged and congested residential areas. Need to encourage abatement process to attain attention. Well, we got the attention because I even reported to the select board that that is happening because they have no idea. They don't want to do anything about it. So the residents have to take their actions in their own hands. The reason for the abatement are overvaluation, disproportionate assessment, and Beverly Airport noise impact. Overvaluation and all of the are based on fact that sales data has not been incorporated as a factor for the exposure of the property owners and the establishment of value of each property. Constant expansion of the airport facilities has placed pressure to assess the jetport impacts. The Danvers assessors process incorporates waterfront factors to increase the value of the associated tax receipts for each parcel. They can overvalue your property because you are located on the waterfront, but they will not decrease your value because you're impacted by overflights of jets. So the assessor's office needs to be practical and realize that this is a serious impact. In my documentation, I forwarded a impact area, and if you look at the airport runways, the runway that comes off and hits Danvers High School, and if you draw a 30-degree or 45-degree angle of where these flights go and come from, they go directly over my house, which is on 95 and almost in Middleton. So 67% of the Danvers residents are impacted by the noise level and the overflights of jets and small planes as well that are happening to our quality of life. So this has been filed, and our estimation of the overvaluation is based on 3 segments of our value as set by the assessor. The building, land, and extras combine to a reduction of land value. That specifically is defined as an impact. Building value is reduced by 15% due to inherent value of the structure and the market conditions, difficulty in establishing an appropriate factor. However, that factor is an estimate, and if we insist on getting sound protection for our homes and sound barriers established at the 95 area where traffic continues, we will definitely at least reach 15 to 20%. Yard extra values are requested to be reduced by 25% due to the noise and environmental effects and not being able to enjoy our quality of life on our own land and property. The land value is requested to be reduced by 25%. That is something that we need from our assessors and we need from our select board. Our select board is sleeping at the switch. The assessor has provided abatement relief on a parcel that requested an abatement. However, that relief has not been expanded to the rest of the cone of impact from jet traffic. parcel sheet is attached and is located on the Old Burley Street adjacent to the airport. That was reduced, and it was officially reduced, but nobody knows about it. Why are we not advised of these kinds of examples? The request is only to be treated fairly and compensate the landowners for fair assessment and to reduce our taxes. The current airport is exempt from any taxes, but uses the safety factors provided by Danvers Police, fire, water, sewer, and other services. This is a taxation without representation issue. Now, this application has been filed. I am waiting for an invitation to come before the Assessors Committee, and actions required. This quality of life are lacking. The attachment 2 explanation of Danvers versus overflights is a very serious factor that must be considered. Danvers has offered land use reductions and now should expand the reductions in assessment to the entire noise cone identified on the map. The cone of the noise extends 67% of the residential areas. And we, as Danvers residents, are in a very congested area during the takeoffs and landings according to what is happening at the airport. I have provided a jet noise means lower property taxes for homes in these neighborhoods. These are communities that have delegated their authority, and they have their assessors being very cooperative and reducing their values. So now that we are general impact of aircraft noise on property values. Valuation decrease. 1 decibel increase in average noise exposure has been linked to a 0.6% to 1% decrease in property value. Decibel threshold. Homes exposed to average noise levels at 60 decibels or higher typically sell at a discount compared to quieter areas. Local willingness to pay. A study that included Boston found that median willingness to pay for a 1 decibel reduction in sound levels was approximately $152 annually. Let's just get the $152 for each and every one of our residents, which includes probably 7,000 homes and functions. The only other thing that I would like to bring up, and I am running out of time, perceived noise level contours of VFR aircraft landings and jet and propeller aircraft. Ben, if you can show that chart, the studies that have been conducted provide 2 levels. The 2-engine propeller transport and business aircraft is on the bottom chart. That's how the sound travels. Medium and short-range jet transport and business jet aircraft is the upper level, and look what the decibel levels are going to. Now, I can provide this to anyone that's listening. Property tax abatement impacted property owners, and we need to have our day in court, if that's what it comes down to. Beverly Airport, Commissioners update, good neighbor policy. I will give our airport manager credit for supplying various information that I've always asked for. We have been inundated with information, but the Airport Commission, as airport proprietor, have the charge of operating, maintaining, and developing the airport with prudence and sound judgment. Recognizes its responsibility as citizens of the City of Beverly and abutting communities, while mindful of the impact airport operations can have upon the environment, social well-being of the community. The airport and its airspace shall be protected as an asset to the community, having the primary purpose of facilitating air transportation, in accordance with the regulations of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Well, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, our representatives and our senator need to stand up and defend the residents that are being impacted by the noise levels and overflights of jets over our facilities. Let's not wait for an accident to happen where we lose life or limb because some pilot drops a plane onto one of our homes or our high school. So, Danvers concerned residents have sent a letter to Sean Duffy, and we have not received a response yet. I will follow that up. So, I have some additional information that I want to share with you, but I'll share that with you next show, which will be in April. Oh, in March, I'm sorry. I'm pushing the clock. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for at least understanding what this whole thing is about. Thank you, and good night, good morning, good afternoon, whenever it may be. Watch the next show.